Next slide. So first thing I want to start on is just a little bit of research that Sage did last year. And it was some research called Small Business, Big Opportunity. And what Sage found is that 71% of small businesses are confident about their success, with 84% expecting to be confident in the next 12 months. And that might be surprising given the doom and gloom at the moment, but your clients, they are quietly confident. What Sage then went on to ask is what's driving that confidence? And as you can see from this slide, that number one answer is increased efficiency. Your clients are looking at doing more with less. And it's probably something you've thought about as well, and something that you need to do. Ultimately, everyone's trying to run a business. And what that question becomes is, how can we do more with less? Next slide. And it's all about digitalizing and systemizing and automating any tasks. You can actually work less while actually improving client value and service. This then leads to time savings, and this then translates into increased revenue. More time means you can grow your business to have more clients or improve services, or even have time for a better work-life balance. It's completely up to you. If we delight clients with our use of technology and the efficiencies it brings, then it's locking them in for the future. And one way we can retain clients, that's been proven by research, is that use of technology, so that they're in lockstep with your setup. And something to remember, clients, they are tech savvy nowadays. Clients no longer question how technology can help, but it's all about when and how it can help. They expect service providers to be tech savvy, if not the same, if not streets ahead of the game. And finally, this all leads to competitive advantages. As you all know, it's competitive out there, and you really need to grasp every opportunity that you can. And again, technology has always proved that. And you can't be slow when you're taking up technology. And next slide. So at this point, I just want to dig down into some specifics. So removing those manual tasks, automate those tasks instead. That's always going to be better. Collect and communicate data in real time. That rich real-time data can provide valuable insights for you and also your clients. And streamline processes and operations, not only for yourself, but also for your clients. This then all leads to more time back. Time for you to win more clients, to be more improved in profitability, or even just having that better work-life balance. Allowing for you to have better client conversations to then spot those growth opportunities. And with technology being implemented, that's all about future-proofing your practice, ready for that AI revolution. Next slide. So the reason that I'm here today is to talk about AutoEntry. AutoEntry, it's that automated data entry tool. We touched a little bit there about time savings, about servicing clients and removing manual processes. This is where AutoEntry fits in. Save up to 90% of processing time compared to entering invoices, statements, and receipts manually, with less errors, with 99% accuracy, giving you cost savings for servicing clients, and no contracts required. Pay monthly, cancel anytime, all the features from day one with unlimited companies and users. And really importantly, it's that open ecosystem. It integrates seamlessly with Sage, Xero, QuickBooks, and all other top accounting software. And it's all about less time getting the trial balance and more time sharing your knowledge and your insights with clients and being able to offer those value-added advisories. Next slide, please. AutoEntry's focus is to help you get data from receipts, invoices, bills, and statements without having to manually enter it by hand. I touched on there about integration. So it integrates seamlessly with all top accounting software, and it's to form one of the first and most valuable steps in your app stack. So reducing data entry processes by up to 90%, while increasing accuracy up to 99%. So on this slide, just to have a little look at some steps in how AutoEntry works. It is something I'm going to show you in a little bit more detail in a product demonstration in a moment, but just want to talk through a bit of a workflow. So firstly, it's documents that you receive. So documents you receive could be printed, receipts, could be invoices. These could even be digital formats like PDFs or even stored online. The second step is to get that data transferred into AutoEntry. You can do this in a number of different ways. So you could scan the paperwork using a desktop scanner and upload it via a browser. You could email documents directly to AutoEntry, or you might even prefer to use a mobile phone. So you've got an AutoEntry mobile app that you can take a snapshot. Using the AutoEntry mobile app, it's as easy as taking a selfie, so super easy to use. Then next step is AutoEntry does its thing. AutoEntry extracts that data, and it'll be key information such as dates and values, references, and more. And you then just categorize it. So quick tasks like adding in a category and adding in VAT codes. AutoEntry, it's going to learn your categorizations at this point. So next time you come to do it, it will automatically suggest what to use, which will then make things just even faster. You can even create rules so that this step is entirely automated in the future. So once you're fully confident in your categorizations, set up a rule so that it fully automates it. And then last step, and finally, you publish that through into your accounting software, and that's it, job done. And it's even worth mentioning at this point, it will output as well data into Excel worksheets or CSV files, if that's going to better fit your workflow. It's really as easy as not even a minute to actually get data in, get using AutoEntry and have it published. Or even less if you start automating it fully with things like rules. Next slide, please. So at this point, I would just like to take a little look into AutoEntry. So I'm just going to cover a demonstration around AutoEntry, how to capture data, how it streamlines processes, how it saves time, removing that manual work with that use of automation. So if I click the right button, perfect. So I should see my screen now. So I'm logged into AutoEntry at the moment. And as part of my product demonstration, I'm just going to cover a little bit around the main company lists. I'm going to cover integrations, uploading, how it extracts, and also how things can be outputted as well. So no contract, you pay for what you use, unlimited users, unlimited companies and storage, all from day one. So unlimited companies just means the window that I'm logged into at the moment, which is that main dashboard. I've got a list of all my clients, all my companies on the left-hand side. I can quite easily add new companies in the top right, but you don't pay per company. I can add, again, as many as I want. With a company that is being added, you've then got different integration statuses. So I mentioned about seamlessly integrating with Sage, Xero, QuickBooks. So at this point, I'm very easily being able to go into my settings, into the company, into an integrations option, where I can then choose from a number of different softwares I can integrate. Integrations can take, again, even less than 30 seconds to get it all connected. It's as simple as going to connect, adding in some email addresses and passwords for your logins for that particular software, and then selecting the company I want to use, and that's it connected. You can even connect desktop programs like Sage 50 accounts, but it does require an additional add-on to be installed. But getting companies integrated, like you can see on mine, on my main company list, super easy, super quick, with a big list of different softwares it will connect with. You are also able to add in users, so unlimited users at no cost. I can add in client users, whether I do that as a company by company basis by going into my view option on the right, or if I wanted to add in a user to more than one company, or probably more importantly, add in a colleague so that they can access AutoEntry as well. I can go into my people's option on the left, where I can then fully customize what they log in with, and also very importantly, adding in different permission levels. So only give them access to some of the information so that they can only use parts of that particular company. So fully flexible. You do only pay for what you use. So AutoEntry, it's all about extracting data. So when I upload documents such as invoices, credit notes, statements, bank statements, then this point is where it's going to then start extracting information. And again, it's one of those areas where there's a couple of ways we can get data into AutoEntry. And if I go to upload in my top right hand side, and if I just very quickly select one of my companies and also where I'd like it to be uploaded to. So one way I can get data in is just via the browser. So like I'm doing now, is dragging and dropping files into this middle section. The second way I can get data in is via an email address. So we have an email address down at the very bottom, and this email address, it is fully customizable. So I can change that to whatever I'd like to see. But emailing things over could be something that I send over myself directly. It could be a client sending that over, or it could even be that supplier CCing that email address in even. And it'll do the same thing. It'll then attach itself into an inbox in AutoEntry. Or the third and final way to get data in for my purchases would be via the mobile app that I mentioned. So whether you're using an iPhone or whether you're using an Android, you can go into the App Store, download the AutoEntry app, and it's really easy to use, where it's designed for you to just really quickly and easily take that snapshot. When information is being uploaded, it is even clever enough to do things like automatically detect pages. So say I had a file with 20 invoices on, AutoEntry can then automatically detect multiple page or single page items and upload them individually. Doesn't have to be individual files. It's even clever enough to pick up item lines. So for those more complex invoices where you've got, say, 20 different item lines with different categories and different VAT codes, AutoEntry can pick all that information up as well as the descriptions to really categorize it in depth as well. Once everything's been uploaded, it's all digitally stored. So that digital record being kept in AutoEntry. And then in certain situations, it'll then transfer that data as well into any integrated bookkeeping system as well. When I have got information uploaded, it'll appear like the ones I've got in this main company list. So if I take the third company down as an example, I've got 41 in my purchase inbox, I've got 10 in my sales, 3 in my statements, but these are items that I've uploaded and they're waiting for me to then categorize, look at reconciliations, again, depending on that document. So what I'm going to focus on is a little bit inside of a company to give you an idea on some of the functionality and some of the features that we have. So when I log into a company, you'll notice each area split out into separate inboxes. So we've got purchases, supplier statements, sales, bank statements, and expense reports. And that first one I'm going to focus on is just that purchase inbox. So instead of manually typing out invoices, why not let AutoEntry do that hard work by uploading them into the inbox? And what AutoEntry is going to do at this point is going to extract the information from the document. And it's that key information like invoice numbers, like dates, supplier names, net and VAT values. So that key information. And the only thing that's left for myself to do is to then categorize and add in VAT codes. So if we take these first 4 as an example, so one of the main features is as I go to add a supplier, I can either choose from a list of suppliers that I've already got set up in my bookkeeping system, or if my supplier is not created, I can easily create a supplier, which I'll just do, give it a name and give it a currency. So it's not just UK currencies. I can also do other currencies as well. Once I have created a contact, you'll see in a second that it then automatically pre-fills as well any other invoices that have been uploaded that then match that same supplier name. So again, saving me time from doing it one at a time. And you'll notice as well that the VAT code has also been identified. So it's looked at the net value, the VAT value, and I identified it as, in my case, being 20% VAT. So the last thing I would need to do is to then add in a category. So this is just going to be a general cost of sales. Anything that I do select, it then gives me the option to remember. Once I do remember a particular category or even a VAT code, it'll then automatically pre-fill any that is matching that same supplier. So once I've refreshed my window, you'll see in a second, it's now pre-filled everything with 5,000. So with those high-level invoices where it's a supplier, a category, a VAT code, it's as simple as doing these steps so that going forward, whenever Will's building company uploads it, when I upload an invoice for them, it's going to pre-fill these 3 boxes. To get these into my accounting system that I've got integrated, I can easily output the information and publish by doing it one at a time if I needed to, or I might want to publish these in bulk where I can select them individually on the left or even select all in the top left, and I can do under actions, I can get them published in one go. You will have situations where those invoices are going to be more complex, so where you've got multiple different item lines. So with those sort of invoices where I'm extracting multiple items, if I go into view, so I can just give you an example of what it looks like if I was to drill into a bit more detail, we can see what image has been uploaded. So this is just an image from a hotel. And then on the right-hand side, I can see everything that AutoEntry is extracted. In this example, it isn't just high-level information I wanted, I actually wanted all the item lines as well. So as I scroll down, I can see that I've got accommodation and car parking on there, which I can see it's all split out all correctly. And I've even got different categories that it's assigned. I mentioned about creating rules. So the full automation of these more complex invoices, there's ways I can go into my supplier, set up specific rules where it's identifying descriptions, and it can then create a line with one category, even with different VAT rates, so that it's automatically categorizing in those more complex invoices. There's even a way, once I've set up rules, to then auto-publish. So in theory, with this invoice we're looking at now, if I'd set up my rules, I could upload the invoice, my client could, it could be just a photo on the app, however it's going to go into AutoEntry. But with those rules, it would identify the categories, identify the VAT rates, even if they're different line by line. And then with auto-publish, it would then just appear in my accounting software to the point where I wouldn't even need to review it. Because I'm confident with my coding, it would just appear in my accounting software. So again, fully automating that process. But that was a bit of an overview about the purchase inbox. And let's say that the whole key of the purchase area is just removing that manual work. And with that manual work removed, allow me to, again, have more time to then look at things and focus on things like maybe advisories off the back of it. We do also have in AutoEntry a supplier statement area. So thinking about those end of month supplier statement reconciliations that you'd be doing. And these are one of the features that is really unique to AutoEntry. And I know it's something that's not offered by any competitors. What we've got is an area where, very similar, an inbox, where I can upload a statement. So again, similar options via browser, via an email in this case. When the statement's been uploaded, AutoEntry's again going to do its thing. It's going to extract the information like the date, the number, a description if I had one, and debit or credit. Where this is that unique feature is that reconciliation process. AutoEntry's going to identify any invoices that have already been published and processed. And we can see from this example that I've got a number of invoices that have all been automatically matched. But the one at the very bottom of the statement, so that one at the very bottom, number 115 for £6, that one hasn't been identified. So thinking about those supplier statements where you'll likely have page upon page that you're manually reconciling, it's letting AutoEntry do that hard work by identifying what's missing so that myself, my client, can then either chase that supplier so that we can get a copy invoice and then we can get it all published over, or even having the option to create an invoice off the back of this window, which will then go into the purchase inbox for me to process. So really streamlining that month-end process in AutoEntry, and again, letting AutoEntry do the hard work about reconciliations. The sales side of things in AutoEntry, so very similar to the purchase area, where if you've got those clients who are producing in Word, in Excel, or even outside of software, you can upload your sales invoices, or the client can, again, similar ways, via an app, via an email address, or via the browser. And AutoEntry will do a very similar thing with like purchases, where it'll extract numbers, dates, references, and values. And then it's left for me to categorize a sale and then have these published over into the accounting software. You do have the similar options where things can be published over, so integrated, or just like we can even with purchases, if I prefer, because it's going to be better for my workflow, I can even output the information into CSV files, Excel files, and other formats as well. So I can continue to work on it outside of the AutoEntry software. With my information around bank statements, so again, those sort of clients where you've got your bank statements, even credit card statements as well, AutoEntry is going to allow you to upload your statement. Again, very similar manner, where I would be uploading this one via a browser, whether it's going to be a grayscale or whether ePDFs being kind of probably the preferred method. And AutoEntry is going to extract that information, again, dates, debit and credit values, where it looks something like this one here. And once AutoEntry's extracted the information, in my case across multiple pages, I then have the option to do things like exporting information directly to software, such as to Sage, or I do have options where I can download the information in a number of different file formats, whether that is going to be your generic CSVs, your generic Excel files, or if you prefer to go to a QuickBooks file format, a Xero file format, or many others. With those sort of clients where they kind of your general Excel clients and you don't have them integrated to software, what you do also get within AutoEntry, so for anyone that isn't integrated, so I'm back to my main company list, and you can probably notice this company here, it's not integrated to any software, not like the others, but within the bank statement module, within AutoEntry, I get this similar method where it will extract the information. So exactly the same as we saw before, exactly where I can download as well in the same formats. But we do also get the option to do what's called fast code transactions. So this is only available for anyone that isn't integrated. But what fast code is going to allow me to do is in AutoEntry, I can set up contacts, I can set up my categories, and then within my fast coding area, I'm able to reorder columns. I can then find items that are very similar. So we take this one here, like energy, for example. Actually, we'll take PayPal as examples because there's a few more. So with these PayPal payments, I'm able to either categorize things one at a time using drop-downs, or I can actually do that in bulk. So if I was to select these PayPal ones, I could then select, say it's just again, general cost of sales code I want to apply. It'll then just pre-fill all of them in the list. Again, similar with contacts if I needed. I can then approve it, which will just say, yes, I'm finished with that item, although I can amend it if I want to do in the future. And off the back of this information, I'm able to download it in CSV Excel file formats, and also things like Iris and CCH as well. So again, just another feature, depending on if it's integrated, if it's not integrated, around the banking module. And then that final area that we've got in AutoEntry is all about expenses. So thinking about your clients, so those clients who need to look at reimbursable, non-reimbursable expenses, what AutoEntry would allow you to set up is it would allow your client to give access to the employee. And then from my manage area, so my manage lists area. I can set up easy to understand categories for the employee. And then I can also set up different mileage rates as well, depending on type of car and also what the value is. And the way it's designed is for that the employee to be uploading their expenses, I would imagine via the mobile app, with it being the easiest route. They can then create a report of all the expenses that have been uploaded, and it can then go to more than likely probably the employer or someone to then approve that report. And that'll then sit in an area that looks something like this, where we've then got a number of reimbursable, non-reimbursable expenses, which can then either be approved by that approver or even rejected. With that rejection process, even being able to reject it for a reason, so that the employee can then allocate the right category or upload the right photo if they put the wrong photo in by mistake. All of which then allows a nice report to be run off. So PDF, giving an overview about totals and about reimbursables. And it'll even create an invoice in the purchase area for anything that is reimbursable that could then be outputted into an Excel or a CSV, or even transferred into an accounting system as well. So all about using the expense area, again, reimbursable, non-reimbursable, really digitalizing that expense and mileage area for any clients that may need that. So that was just, a very quick run through about AutoEntry's main window, about some of the inboxes, how to get data in as well, just to give you kind of that visual around it. So if I swap back over to the presentation. So we get the right window up first. There we go. Perfect. So at this point, it's just talking a little bit about signing up. So it's really easy to sign up. And to be honest, you've really got nothing to lose. So you would go to autoentry.com, and in the very top right-hand side, there's a button to try for free. Once you then go to sign up, it's going to ask for a few bits of details. So your email address, you set up a password, but you don't have to add in any credit card, any bank details at that point. And that's it. You've effectively signed up for a trial where you do actually get 25 credits free of charge. And 25 credits, it's enough for you to upload and try with 25 invoices or 25 receipts. So really at this point, it's nothing to lose. So really, why don't you sign up now? And that's pretty much it. It brings us on probably nicely to the question and answer area. And I've done pretty well for time, which is a bit of a surprise because I thought I might have overrun today. And at this point, I'm just going to quickly check the chat to see if there's any questions that have dropped through. I know we are pretty tight on time. We've got about a minute or so left. So we do have kind of one or two questions. So one question. So a question that came through saying about giving access to clients. So I mentioned very briefly in the demonstration where you can go to the people option and you can add a client within there individually per company. And even adding that client in, it allows you to add in different permission levels. So you can even restrict some of those inboxes we were looking at there as well. So yeah, really easy to add clients in and all unlimited as well. And we've got another question. So it looks like David. So how long does it take for AutoEntry to code documents? So yeah, so the second question that come through is on about learning as well from David. So AutoEntry, it allows you to memorize. Once you've memorized categories and information about what's been uploaded, it'll then instantly automatically code it once it's been added into the inbox. Rules, they're the areas which, yes,
Gosh, I'm not sure what's happened here. My name's Kane, one of the organisers. I think I can't hear. They've gone offline by accident.
Much 30 minutes.
Oh, he's back now.
Overrun by a minute. But that's pretty much it from myself. So I hope everyone's enjoyed today's webinar and give you that little bit of an understanding around AutoEntry and how it can automate manual tasks, and hopefully how it can fit in for yourselves and your clients. But I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you very much.